Something sinister stirs within the swamp. An old, terrible foe clambers from beneath the soil and murk. You have come to claim iron and raid the crypts of the swamp. You seek the bone mass altar to vanquish Odin's foe. Amongst the Draugr and the skeletons, the twisting, crashing abomination rises to meet you.
Hey folks, welcome to the 10th World. The devs at Iron Gate have graced us with a content update, including a new mini-boss in the swamps. Let's talk about where to find it, how to beat it. To find the Abomination, simply start exploring swamps. The creature tends to rise up out of shallow watery areas in the swamp from a stump. It has a long and loud animation that alerts you of its presence when it spawns in, and it won't be sneaking up on you like some of those trolls do. Once it is spawned, it is highly aggressive and will immediately start stomping after you. The Abomination is strong for the swamp, easily a troll-level threat capable of wiping out your character in one or two massive swings. Similarly to the troll, it does massive terrain damage to ancient trees and rocks in the area, easily cutting down several logs at a time. This can help you survive, as Valheim's damage calculations reduce individual damage when hitting multiple targets. This includes trees and rocks. The more trees and rocks that the Abomination hits, the less damage you'll receive if you also get hit. This can also kill you, as well, Valheim is kind of famous for falling trees killing players. If they don't kill you, the trees will definitely get in your way. Let's talk strategy. The Abomination seems to be very resistant to piercing damage, as the high-level black metal Atgear seem to do pretty much nothing against it. Naturally, its weaknesses lay in the axe, dealing significant bonus damage, yielding it to either be weak or potentially very weak to slashing damage. I did not test any of the elemental damages, but I suspect that fire might be a great way to start. The Abomination has 3 attacks that you'll need to master to not die to its wild and strong vines. The first and most common of these in my encounters is a wide sweeping attack from its right, thinner vine that I'll refer to as the Vine Whip. This attack has similar properties to the Stick Troll's sweeping attack, however it's largely horizontal as opposed to diagonal like the Trolls. This attack hits for what appears to be around 60 damage. Between basic troll armor and blocking, you'll take around 22 points of damage each time you block. We'll go over food in a moment, but this Vine Whip attack has about 1 second of startup where you'll see the left vine raise above the head in preparation. What follows is a blindingly fast horizontal sweep. You'll either want to block, walk far to the left, or walk under and right in order to dodge this. It's very hard to retreat directly away from this move, but with enough caution you can feel it coming, as the Abomination intends to use this move when you stand directly in front of it a few meters out. This move I found to be the safest move to parry and the easiest to take little damage on due to the vine hitting many other targets. However, with low-level armor and a wooden shield, you will get fully staggered even with 2 strong health items. Thankfully, the knockback on it is strong enough to send you far away so that you're able to recover after getting staggered. Just watch out for other nasties in the swamp. The other option the Abomination has when you stand a few meters out from it is what I'll call the Stomp. This is a high-damage downward vertical attack that slams into the ground directly in front of the Abomination, using its thicker, more trunk-like left leg. The slam attack does more damage than the whip and is significantly easier to dodge due to its narrow attack hitbox. Walking to the right or left immediately from center should yield no damage, but if you're on the left side already, you're right. When walking further right, then you should be more safe and allowed to get in several attacks. The same applies if you're on the right side. No, your other right. The final attack the Abomination has is a trunk slam attack, where it raises its core body into the air and slams it down. I find this move to be similar to the Lock Stomp or the Elder Step. Wow, those sound like groovy jazz tracks I'd listen to. This attack is the most dangerous, as it's the only used when you're underneath the Abomination or against its core. This attack does massive damage and knockback and hits in an AoE circle around the base of the Abomination. Because of its high damage value and wide hitbox, if you're the only target being hit, you will take a significant amount of stagger damage and damage, due to the multi-hit penalty not being in effect. Be prepared to die if not geared heavily. It does about 80 damage per slam. Speaking of gear, let's talk food and preparation. I decided to test out how a fight would go with what I would expect most players entering the swamp for the first time to have. Level 1 or 2 troll armor, a bronze axe, and a wooden shield. No meads, I used a deer stew, minced meat sauce, and a queen's jam for a total of 124 health and 118 stamina. Between that and the well-rested buff, I had the stamina I needed to maneuver in the fight, and I wouldn't go much lower in the health department. Almost every blow was 70 to 100% of the stagger bar, and any less health could result in potentially devastating critical combos. Here's how I would recommend fighting with lower level armor and weapons. Hug the Abomination's left leg, and from that vantage point, you can either A, dodge the stomp attack by running around the Abomination to the right. B, the Vine Whip attack comes out anyways. Run forwards towards the core. You should be safe if you reach all the way in and hug to your right. If you're slow on reaction, then you may be forced to spend stamina on a dodge roll or block if you don't get far in enough. Walking there if you can, or only tapping sprint, will help save crucial stamina in this war of attrition. In between scenarios A and B, land 2 axe swings. Only go for 3 if you force the Abomination to rotate to face you if you ran far enough to the right or under it. Scenario C is you've run towards the core after dodging scenario A or B, and now a trunk slam threatens to deal large amounts of damage. Simply sprint behind the Abomination to get out of the way and force it to turn around. The other option is you can dodge roll in place, abusing the generous iframes Iron Gate has bestowed upon your Viking. This will be very similar to dodging the Elder's Stomp, so you should feel pretty comfortable with it. If you get attacked by the Vine Whip while not close to the Abomination, dodge roll to your left or attempt a parry. After parrying, any body part of the Abomination will take full critical damage. No need to run to the core. After this, hug the tree trunk arm and rinse and repeat. If other mobs show up, I suggest running from the Abomination until you've dealt with the other threats. Archers, wraiths, and blobs will prove the most difficult over the Draugr and skeletons, but whatever seems most threatening to you, focus on that first. The Abomination just has too much health to try and deal with all of that at the same time. At higher armor levels, the same strategy works well. You just have a more generous tolerance for failed dodges and sprints. Though a trunk slam can easily take away your health bar, especially if your stagger bar gets filled or if you run out of stamina. Be careful not to get too carried away with that 5th or 6th axe swing just because you have a little bit more health. This enemy can also spawn in multiples, so be careful not to aggro too many. Try and stay in a tight circle. Circle strafing around the Abomination tends to be a good strategy if you need to just buy some time to get your health or stamina back. And if you want to know all about the root armor, well then check out this video. As you can imagine, the root is dropped from the Abomination, and you can make some pretty cool armor out of it. If you like this style of video, let me know in the comments what enemy you'd like me to break down next. Are there enemies that you tend to struggle with? The Abomination looks awesome, and I can't wait to see what cool enemies we get in the future updates. Thank you, Iron Gate.